Hi, good morning. Happy Saturday. We're going to look at John chapter 1, verse 10. Okay, hoping that we can understand what we're reading, that God would open our spiritual eyes so we can see. Okay, he was in the world, and the world was made by him, and the world knew him not. All right, what are we reading here? He, Christ, was in the world, and the world was made by him, and the world knew him not. Okay, let's look at my notes. Okay, my notes say we should look at Acts 13, 26 and 27, and John 3, 1 to 2. So let's go there. Acts 13, 26 and 27. Men and brethren, children of the stock of Abraham, and whosoever among you feareth God, to you is the word of salvation sent. So men and brethren, children of the stock of Abraham, so those of the covenant whom God has saved, and whosoever among you feareth God. So I believe that's referencing the Gentiles outside the covenant, but those who fear God, who are saved, to you the word of salvation is sent. So this is to those whom God has opened um, their spiritual eyes, and in our day to those whom God has opened our spiritual eyes and ears, so that we can hear and hear God's voice. We've been spiritually made alive. They have been spiritually made alive. Okay, verse 27. For they that dwell at, so speaking of they, so them, those other guys over there, for they that dwell at Jerusalem and their rulers. So the mainstream, those that belong to the mainstream religious organizations, the corporate churches of that day, and in our days, the same, because they knew him not. So this applies to us. It's got a historical context, but it's God's word, so it does apply to us. There's a level of understanding the spiritual or the message of salvation. It's in everything in God's word. So in God's word, the message of salvation is built in. It's there. If your spiritual eyes are open, you'll see it. If your spiritual ears are open, you will hear God's voice. For they that dwell at Jerusalem and their rulers, because they knew him not, nor the voices of the prophets, so the teachers of that day, which are read every Sabbath day. So God's word was read by the teachers of that day. And in our day, in corporate churches, they have fulfilled them in condemning him. In other words, they listen to the prophets, those that read God's word, those that teach God's word. All right, they hear in the sense that they hear, but they don't hear. Okay, so they look at God's word, they see, but they don't see. So they haven't been made spiritually alive. Those that are in and those that rule the mainstream religious corporate organizations. So for they that dwell at Jerusalem and their rulers, because they knew him not, nor yet the voices of the prophets, which were read every day, they have fulfilled them in condemning him. So they knew him not. They knew him not. So referencing John chapter 1, verse 10. So let's look at First John chapter 3. Okay, verse 1 and 2. Behold, what manner of love the Father hath bestowed upon us, that we should be called the sons of God. Therefore the world knoweth us not, because it knew him not. Beloved, now we are the sons of God, and it doth not yet appear what we shall be. But we know that when he shall appear, we shall see him, for we shall, we shall, when he shall appear, we shall be like him, for we shall see him as he is. So verse 1, behold, what manner of love the Father has bestowed upon us. All right, so by God's power, he has made us spiritually alive, that we should be called the sons of God. Therefore, the world knoweth us not. Okay, the world which has not been made spiritually alive. So the world, not just the world, but what? The corporate religious organizations, because it knew him not. Okay, they hear God's word. They the prophets read God's word. They hear, but they don't hear. Okay, because then, because it knew him not. Today, because they know him not. Same thing today applies to today. Salvation. This is key. All right, beloved, now we are the sons of God. Okay, and it doth not yet appear what we shall be, but we know that. Okay, this is what we know. When he shall appear. So when is that? That's now. Okay. That's also when he physically, in the physical sense, appears. But when he shall appear, when is that? That's now. Okay, we shall be like him. How are we like him? We're spiritually aligned. Okay. We know we are spiritually aligned because we see him as he is. Not clearly. It's opaque at this point. We've barely know. We barely see. But in the sense that we can see him through his word, we hear him through his word, we hear his voice. We are like him in the spiritual sense now. So when he shall appear, that's now. Okay, we shall be like him. That's now in a spiritual sense. Okay, add a second comment. Okay, we shall be transformed. Okay, and we shall fully see him as he is, because we will be fully like him, both in body and in spirit. Okay, that's it.